soul brother. Discover the soul brother. Discover the soul brother.
Put on your face for the party. Make them stare and turn their heads until they fall in disguise. Who will rise to rule the ball? All men die, so they hunger for the glory, wealth and fame, a crown and chapter in the story. Fight with sin. Who will win to rule the ball? Raise your glasses high to the light. I'm ruler of the ball. Better mind your manners. Kneel before my banners. I've come to rule you all. Take your sons and daughters, send them to the slaughter. Send them to the slaughter. This dance floor's filled with the bodies of wicked men, all surrounded by their ghosts. Watch your backs, for the axe surely will fall. Best believe fear drives men to the darkness, scared and weak. Oh, they'll even sell their souls for the throne, to be known, ruler of the ball. Dance, my babies, dance for the chance. I'm ruler of the ball. Better mind your manners. Kneel before my banners. I've come to rule you all. Take your sons and daughters, send them to the slaughter. Send them to the slaughter. I'm ruler of the ball. Kneel before my banners. I've come to rule you all. Take your sons and daughters.
Check. We're good? All right, cool. All right, I think I got everybody's angle on the Facebook feed, my personal stream, lined up where you can see everybody. If you don't want to see the green screen, log into us on the YouTube channel link, Twitch, or Facebook Live. So that was Jennifer Hall Burris, the song Leader of the Ball. Really cool video, like I said earlier, on my personal feed. Robert Fortner is one of the lead guys in the video, owner of P&H Cafe, really cool dude. Going through some stuff right now with everything going on with the COVID and property sales, so hopefully he's going to find a really great spot. We've been talking, and I think he's got a really cool spot picked out, and it's going to be really neat to see how P&H grows from now, since they've been a staple in the community for so long. First guest tonight is Ross Turner. I'm going to go ahead and bring him up. Ross, you ready?
What's up, bud?
Not much, man. Ross, as you all know, was in Native Blood, which broke up. They got a new band called Death Revival. Haven't recorded anything yet to be put out, so it's why we started with Jennifer's stuff.
Yeah, man.
But Ross is also a local radio personality and also has a podcast called The Stump to promote local music.
Yeah, local music. I'm expanding to like artists, business owners. For our first guest is going to be Nathan down at Trilogy Tattoos this Wednesday. Just talk about what's been going on, how they've been going through this, and just talking about just tattooing in general. So kind of just expanded just anything that is Memphis and people are operating in Memphis. Get the word out on whatever they're doing, you know?
And tattoo shops, so like, how, from your perspective and talking with people, like, how's that business going right now? I haven't even
I
heard
got
from
a
anybody.
tattoo back in July, and I mean it was fine. Like everybody's pretty much jumping through every hoop that they present for them. You know, it's all under the guise of staying safe and you know, and stopping the spread of COVID. But you know, like it's like tattoo artists, from what I've seen, like tattoo shops, they were like kind of lucky to get in there because it's such close contact. So they did not mess around. I mean, from what I saw, that you lock the door behind them. It's only appointment only. You call ahead of time. They text you back. You get in there. You do the contact tracing. You give them your name, your number, and you wear a mask the whole time. They wear a mask the whole time, and then you get a tattoo, and hopefully you got a good artist and you got good work done. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But I'm always amazed because I've been watching. Like, towards the beginning of this, I was very, very, very wary of where I wanted to go. I wanted to limit the contact with as many people as possible. And kind of as time goes on and people have taken it more seriously, people have adopted masks, they've adopted or got more comfortable with social distancing, that I wanted to start going out there and seeing how everything was going, get back in. I started doing stand-up again. High Tone's doing an open mic once a week. Distancing, masks, unless you're sitting down, masks actually when you're sitting down between bites and stuff like that. So whatever hurdle has been given to anybody, I think there's we're so starved for everything. I mean, businesses are starved for people to come in and sit down and enjoy themselves. People are starved for the camaraderie and just the act of getting out of the house. I think there's a fever pitch of anxiety and just sitting in and not doing anything, that people just will do whatever
It's definitely been COVID.
is
COVID,
asked for
COVID
asked of them.
fatigue is a thing, right?
What's that?
COVID fatigue. People have been talking about
Oh,
that.
100%.
You know, people are wanting to get out of the house.
Some people handle it better than others, and you know, I wouldn't. I'm lucky to continue to be working, but I didn't handle this well. You know, I mean, I felt every day of it.
Well, you did just go to Germany, so like.
Yeah, I did go to Germany, and I came back. My girlfriend lives there, and
How was that? Like the traveling across seas, and I got a friend of mine going to Canada in a couple of weeks. So like,
oh, they're gonna let him in Canada? Awesome.
I guess.
Yeah, no,
Hopefully
I have a
he's still
friend
going.
whose daughter lives in Canada, and he can't even get up there. And I was granted a sweetheart visa. So if you're in a relationship with somebody there,
Yeah, he's married
Netherlands.
to the girl he's going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Netherlands opened it up first, and then it was Germany. And what they did was, if you could prove that you're in a relationship with someone who lives in another in the country, you gotta like document it. They have to have a formal invitation. You gotta show your past visas when you were there. You show letters and stuff. Kind of like you document the relationship, which is like, you're like, it becomes so formal there. You're like, oh my, like,
So, I mean-
it kind of takes the flavor out of it for a second. But then you're like, oh man, it's actually pretty cool. We have all this. So we have that moment together where we kind of like see how far we've come. But you have to have all that documentation and present it to customs when you go there. And I was terrified, but it was so anticlimactic at the same time.
I mean, how was it when you got to Germany versus like the
Well,
U.S. right now? And I know like different states
Yeah.
are doing different things, but like, we'll just say Germany compared to like when you come back home to Shelby County.
Yeah.
And,
It's,
you know.
Germany in lockdown is the U.S. back in April.
Everybody's wearing like garbage bags and spraying kids down with Ajax and all that
All
stuff,
right, not all right, no, not Memphis, but like just the U.S. But like restaurants are only takeout, and there's no dine-in, but it's open containers, so you can just drink in the streets there. But the cops do walk around the city, and then if you're in a group of like 4 or 5 or more, they'll say, "All right, scatter," and people will scatter, and they'll be like, and there have been protests in Germany. It's not like, let's not say that everybody's going in lockstep together. Like, they don't like it any more than we do.
Right.
I think for the one thing that I've noticed, and I don't want to misquote or misinform anybody, but they have a different social safety net than Americans do, as far as when it comes to, like the businesses. They haven't messed around with giving people a certain amount of their income. They're not worried about health care and stuff like that. So we have a different kind of a political climate and a different cultural kind of acceptance of what we deem is we need at any given point, at least from a political level. So I don't see the same kind of desperation. At least I just didn't see it, but how often do you...
I mean, the
everybody's in
whole
their
country's
homes,
like
so,
following the same guidelines there.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
it's not
they're-
like the United States where we're all separated, like Florida and Atlanta are doing their own
yeah,
things.
and Germany's like half the size of Texas, so it's not like the same. It's not the same thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
Like,
right.
it's
Absolutely.
like it's like a third the size of Texas, so it's not like. It's like Texas is so all right. Texas is huge, right? Alaska is so big. If Alaska split in two, Texas would be the 3rd largest state. That's how massive Alaska is. I just love that factoid. So, yeah.
I mean, so the travels are great. That's a good thing, man. I'm glad you made it back safe.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, you're in music too, so I've heard from a lot of musicians this is really affecting what they're doing, the touring musicians, even the locals, like with the gigs and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is what they put their life into. And
Yeah.
practice forever and ever to, learn what they're doing, try to get out. And now it's hard for them to make income. We got the holidays coming up. Like, how's this affecting your friends as musicians that, that's
It's
like
the-
their
like,
sole focus?
It's across the board. It's just stopped. There were some bands here in Memphis that had to basically, they were mid-tour, and they had they were one band in particular was making a run across California that stopped mid-tour and drive all the way back because all the venues started locking up. And then a lot of these guys, it's funny to be a touring band. It's such a different lifestyle that what you do is you're a bartender, you work in the industry, service industry, because that's your bread
Right.
and butter to keep you when you next time you go on tour.
It's flexible, the
Yeah,
schedules
it's
are
the flexible way of living, and now that's dried up. They don't get to do that, so a lot of people are taking odd jobs. Some people have been luckier than others. I've also talked to some musicians that were so close to that emotional breaking point edge because they've been on the road for so long that it was good for them to
Yeah,
kind
to
of
take a break.
to take a break, and they didn't realize how bad off they were. So it's kind of overwhelmingly what I've noticed is that people are having a hard time, and what they're doing is they've taken different jobs and kind of recalibrated their life until whatever comes forward. Like, I mean, for us, I mean, we were rehearsing, we were working on the material and stuff like that, and we had, and even now, like, anybody who comes out not rehearsed and well practiced out of this, I don't know what you're doing right now.
Right.
but like, I do think there's a lot of opportunity to kind of, if you can hang on, to kind of hone your sound and whatever. It's some musicians are doing better than others as far as their music is hard to do under this climate because it requires standing.
Exactly.
Comedy has done better as an industry with venues because it lends itself more to social distancing.
Yeah, you can sit down.
You could sit down, you spread the tables out, there's a limited occupancy. I mean, I got friends who've not stopped in Colorado, in Texas. That's Colorado and Texas. They kind of feel like they're looking out the window and seeing all of us and how we're doing. But I don't know, like some cities just haven't seen the cases.
Well, I know some musicians are moving to not moving, but they're going to other cities to play music.
Yeah.
Cody Clark, Adam McClellan, they all went to like Tin Roof down in Florida to
Yeah.
play music, and that's what's paying right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a really hard gig for
It really is.
musicians right now.
Yeah, yeah. My heart goes out to all of them because I mean it's, it was a hard enough lifestyle as it is before. It's a hard enough gig beforehand, and you really kind of separated yourself by working, going the extra mile, and fully committing. And being fully committed requires you to be out there and working. And then when you shut down the venues, I mean, it kind of, aside from the venues and all the people that kind of connected with that, we think in terms of that of just like the person on stage and maybe the businesses, but all the ancillary kind of the people, like guitar stores, all these like kind of other
Guitar
things.
centers like going bankrupt.
Yeah, getting all these other things that contribute that you don't think of that keep the machine running. So I mean, who knows how many vendors that selling you food.
Man, yeah, it's the same with restaurants. It's a trickle-down effect. And
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I was told by several people on opening restaurants and trying to help build the music scene in Memphis was like, well, the bands, if you can make it in Memphis, then you can make it anywhere. It's the same with a restaurant. If you can have a restaurant in Memphis, you can make it anywhere. It's a tough market to be in initially anyway,
Yeah.
and we're getting, passed over on touring bands and things like that. So we're trying to make Memphis better, and then this stuff comes along and just kind of throws a curveball to everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, from what I understand, it's like what seems it's like right now, like sports. You're trying to bet odds for games and stuff like that. Then they'll cancel the game. Like they'll hand you things down as far as a venue is concerned, or a bar,
Which is
or a
legal in
restaurant.
Tennessee now, by the way.
Yeah.
Sports betting is legal.
So but at the same time, the curveball is new standards, new hoops that you have to jump through, and you don't know what they're going to be week to week. It's been amazing watching you guys kind of deal with it because, I work in radio and we got our eyes glued to the news, but even we're kind of like, all right, so what is it now? I don't know if you guys are getting a newsletter, like an update. If you get is there an app that you have to? How do you guys keep up with it?
Man, we're doing the best we can. It's like, the MRA and the health department are trying to open up some lines of communication and try to help us figure out what's what in the directives. Because the last one that came out was a little confusing, and there's a lot of misconstrued ideas about having to take your mask off before you take a bite of food, or put it back on. But that's not the case. If food's on the table, and obviously you can take your mask off to eat.
Yeah.
They're just saying, if you're walking through the restaurants, put your mask on. Consider everybody else around you, and their comfortability. Like maybe they're going out to support the restaurants, but as you're walking by them, put your mask on so you don't make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. But the musicians and the restaurants, small business owners in Memphis, we're all doing what we can to get by. That's what we do, man.
Yeah.
And I know you guys from the radio, you got to hear it from a lot of musicians and what's going on. I mean, we had Weed Eater here.
Yeah.
One of the last shows we had, and we were talking to the tour manager and letting him know what was going on, because it was like constant updates when this stuff started. And they're like, man, thank you so much. This is going to be our last show of the tour. And they had plenty of places to go there, so they were in Texas next, packed up and went back home.
Yeah. It's kind of weird what we're dealing with right now because, you look at the stock market and it breaks 30,000 for the first time, and you're like, what magic beans are they playing with right now?
Amazon, baby.
Because if I'm looking around, it very much is. It seems to be split in two. It seems to be what people are actually doing that they don't put on social media, and what people pretend that they're doing. And people are gathering and stuff like that and doing all these things. From what I understand, the number one contraction area is people going in homes and doing groups and doing bonfires and stuff like that. And it almost makes me think that if we adhered to the rules that say Shelby County gave us, and we were actually going to bars and doing that and masking up, would there be a lower contraction rate? Because you'd actually have to be careful. I don't know the answer to that, but it's kind of interesting. And what's not fair is we have to play these games with the what if. Are we doing this right? It seems. I don't know. It's kind of. Your guess is good as mine half the time.
Same with the health department. It's a hard thing to pinpoint because you got people are going out in public, and then you go home to where you're comfortable, or you go to your friend's house to where you're comfortable, and people aren't wearing their mask at their friend's house, or
no.
their family's houses.
No. Well, some people are. It's interesting. Some people are, but overwhelming majority, from what I've seen, no.
Right.
Unless you have, someone who you feel is at risk who has a pre-existing condition. And a lot of time, at this point, I feel like most of people, unless your head's been in the sand for the last 9 months, I mean, you don't know what's going on. People pretty much kind of gathered what's important, what's not, and the people you're going to move over to that side to take it seriously, if they haven't gotten on board yet, they're not going to get on board, and the people who've been taking it seriously, I've taken it seriously, and then there's the people in the kind of middle that have said, all right, I'm going to be as cautious as I possibly can within reason, and they'll still go out and they'll still do things, and they'll wear the mask, they'll do all that, and so. I think for the most part, people have pretty much acclimated to what we've been doing. The problem is, I don't know how comfortable people are going out just yet. I worry about that. I wonder how long that's going to take. And
We're starting to see the downtick in that after the last commissioner meeting. I mean,
Really?
Sales and the restaurant guys that I keep up with, we've been down 50%, and people just don't feel comfortable. There's a lot of stuff out there that's scaring them from coming out.
Yeah.
But, we'll do what we always do. We fight in Memphis, and we'll get through it.
Well, I wonder, what kind of relief is on the horizon, if there is any,
Well, we have, there's communication with NEVA, and they're trying to put some stuff together. You got the Save Our Stages Acts for the music venues. Hopefully that gets passed through. Restaurant Cares Act, they're working on that. It's all in the same bill. Shelby County's trying to help the restaurants. I think just today, Tammy Sawyer sent a letter to the governor to try to get some restaurant relief in.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully we have the people that we need that have heard our voices to take up for us from our elected official situation.
Yeah.
Because that's what we need, man. Our tax dollars are important, and it keeps the community going. So I'm hoping that we have the people that we need in office to look out for us.
Good. Yeah. That's what you hope. That's what you hope. And on both ends. And on the financial and the public health side, which is like the big argument that we're having, like what's more important, the public health, or do we keep some kind of semblance of who we were alive? Because we were watching, the P&H was the last. They're going to have to close and move.
Yep.
I think the Ernstine and Hazel's, the building was just sold.
Yeah, that's what I
now
heard.
it's going to be up to the new landlord if they want to keep that open or not. I mean, that's going to be their decision to make. Do they want to keep that history? And
a lot of Memphis landmarks.
yeah, like what kind of Memphis are we going to have after this? And, as someone who's not originally from Memphis, who came here and fell in love with the city, I fell in love with the charm of the grit and the grime, man. I love
Right,
that,
right.
and I think it's a part of American history that I don't think we want to necessarily lose. So I don't think everything needs to be some clean neon sign. So I'm going to miss this area, and hopefully we don't say goodbye to a lot of it, but I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see. I would love to talk to the people who work in real estate right now and see what
I do commercial real estate. I got a bunch of friends
Okay,
that are
yeah.
in real estate. I'm telling you, man, the real estate market is popping right now.
and that's
P&H got purchased by a We Buy Houses
Yeah.
for Cash company for $225. 2 months later, is on the market for $450. And that's what's causing Robert and them to have to move, because they can't afford the rent, plus the construction, and there's no parking already hardly. So they're making a good move, I think, with the spot they're picking out. But it's still, P&H was the home. There's everybody spent their time there, and everybody did their stuff there.
Yeah.
And
Without it, no,
Robert
that was
Matt
my
are
home.
great.
That was my home for a while. That's
Robert Matt are great people, man.
Yeah. But that's the thing that I would you buy something and you flip it. I worry about this kind of bubble we're creating right now, to where property values shooting up, but supposedly we're all doing so bad right now.
Right.
So where's there's a disconnect to what's happening right now in the financial sector and to what we're living on a day-to-day basis, and when we need help. So I'm kind of confused by it.
There's definitely when you purchase a business or you start a business, you have a model, and what's happened right now is the COVID thing and the health department restrictions are changing the way the models are. So a lot of the models that you invested in aren't working.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of places in the city that are up in profit. So, I mean, people are still making money.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You know, look at the drive-throughs. Like, I mean, the drive-throughs are wrapped around, and you know, people are wearing their masks like halfway under their nose and stuff. But there's money to be made. It's just maybe not hitting the segments that, you know, what our cast and stuff that we're trying to talk about is what's really being affected. 2020 should have been a great year. 2019 was a pretty good year. So we were all excited about 2020, and then it just come around, and in March, everything was going great, and mid-March, done.
Yeah.
You know, so there is money out there, and people are investing in real estate, and you know, if they're flipping it or they're holding on to it, you know, that's their prerogative. But
I think the one thing going forward, and if anybody's watching this at home, and what the one thing I'd say, because talking to any people, bartenders and waiters and waitresses and business owners, they don't like enforcing these rules. They don't want to have to look at you and say, look, put it over your nose, please. Put it over your nose, right? They don't want it. So I would just, if you're going to go out and you want to support your businesses, I hate saying this, but like just jump through the hoops like the rest of us and what we have to do, because it's not one of these things. Because we just watched 9 businesses close today. I think Shelby County Health Commission closed down T.J. Mulligan's.
Tin Roof.
So all these and it's probably for like, you know, for stuff like simple kind of things like that. They're gonna like, oh, how come you're not enforcing that? How come you're not enforcing that? So I would kind of like, I would ask people as they try to support businesses, kind of cut these restaurants a break a little bit. This is not how we would have planned it.
No, they're watching it. If you get up and go to the bathroom, if they're in there, they're watching. If you put your mask on and go to the bathroom, if you don't, the establishment you're in is in trouble for it.
Yeah, so I would just say it's not anything that anybody generally wants to enforce, but this is what we have to do to keep the lights on, make sure there's something to go to after all this. So, you know, do the best you can to be cordial, because we watched, you know, for, you know, the last 8 months, people yelling at some of these people at Costco and stuff, and getting angry when
right.
That's not. We don't want to do that. You know, that's not what anybody wants to do. But at the same time, we're trying to stay afloat. So I would just tell people, you know, bear with us. We're looking at. I mean, we'll be looking at another 6 months until we're.
Man, I hope not.
I
hope they take this seriously, and then we get over this soon. But they're going to have to like take some major steps and have some major government assistance. And either we're going to have to look at shutting everything down for 2 or 3 weeks to get over this. You can't shut one segment down and think that everything's going to be okay. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not going to help with the traveling. You know, if Atlanta's full blast open.
Yeah.
And me and you want to go to Atlanta to have a trip one weekend, we come back and infect 30 people, then, you know, that's
and schools are going back in person learning on after the winter break, so that's going to change. That's going to change a lot, and who knows if they'll stick with that. So,
man, I've been getting messages like left and right from the schools that my kids go to about COVID this, COVID that. Mine ain't going back to school.
Yeah, but, no, I hear you. But I appreciate you trying to give people a voice and you know, letting us, you know, put the word out, because it's a challenge.
It is, and this is
It's
a
a challenge.
platform for people to talk, and you know, it's not trying to go one way or the other, left, right. It's an opinion about what's going on in the days that's affecting your lives and the people that you know. It's a platform to set and gives other people something to listen to.
Yeah.
Because there's not really a whole lot out there. You're seeing 1 or 2 sources, and you're not really hearing it from the public. Well, we're a community, so we need to hear it from each other. And,
Yeah.
you know, like, I want to bring Ross on as the co-host of the show. He's got the podcast, The Stump, you know, supporting musicians and everything. So
Yeah, we're going to do that on Wednesday at 98.1 The Max's Facebook page, and we'll put it up on YouTube and stuff like that afterwards. And, yeah, hopefully we'll get the band going for some live shows. And I got a comedy show at the High Tone coming up on December 19th, bringing a couple of comics. I got a comic coming in from Nashville, one from Casey Killer. She used to live here. Now she's in Nashville. Got Joey Leonard coming up from Atlanta. Got Reggie Jr., Tommy Oler, and John Andrew Miller also doing that. I'll be hosting that, and that's December 19th at the High Tone. So we're trying the best. We're doing what we can, and that's all we can do, because you can't keep us down, man.
Right.
You can't keep us down.
Memphis are fighters, man. Maybe Skinny will let me come see the comedy show.
Absolutely,
I
my
shoot him a
man.
text message and be like, hey, man, can I get in the background?
Yeah, I don't mean to keep promoting some at other places, but I'm just...
No, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I love him. He had a lot of stuff going on too. You know, getting the new building. You know, everybody was excited about that. But he's struggling just like we are. You know, we had our differences on the music thing, but
That's
I got no problem with
and that's the
Scandinavian.
one thing it's been tough to watch is venues and stuff like that, restaurants trying to like point fingers at each other,
Right.
Because one person's might be sliding on one thing and somebody's sliding on another, but meanwhile you're just telling where everybody to go to bust them, and then we're all screwed together. So it's kind of like if I could just give everybody a fat hug, I would, you know?
I know,
Just
man.
like, we're gonna make it through this. We're gonna make it.
We got to stick together. But
Yeah.
Ralph Turner, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man.
I mean, if you want to come over here and sit with me, we got.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
All right, fine. Leave me up here by myself. Cool. Next up, let's see. Jennifer, you done with them French fries yet? Jennifer Hall Burris, ladies and gentlemen. Most of you may know her as Crown Vox in the music world, and then she also has the Ivory Closet on Madison. So if you're looking for some great Christmas presents, need some clothing,
Yeah.
go see her over there. Support some local businesses.
Yeah, come see me.
So, how's this been going in the retail world? That's
Well, how's what been going?
like, are you guys seeing a downtick, or is it difficult in the retail?
I mean,
business?
I don't. So we actually bought the Ivory Closet in October of 2019.
Oh,
So
perfect timing.
we took right, yeah, yeah. We like to take massive risks. Actually, we got into it not having. I mean, because I came from the music world, so I came into it not having any experience in retail. We took a huge gamble on the front end, and so we went in. We bought this retail company. We were having my own clothing line designed. We were working with designers out of LA, creating the clothes. It was going to be a really massive launch in spring.
You had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, we were going to do. We were going to do a huge launch in spring, a massive fashion show, reveal the line. It was going to be cool, and then 2020 was like, no, and it just, I think the initial shock of everything kind of changing so quickly, it was just really confusing in the beginning. We were very confused. Like, I think everyone was.
Yeah.
What's happening? And then obviously going, hey, well, how is this going to affect, any sort of plans? And the spring was the first season that fashion never saw. So not only did we buy this retail company, we made a massive investment in releasing a clothing line and then freeze. So it was just like, oh my God, what are we gonna do now? I called the previous owner and I was like, Alex, you don't have like a pandemic contingency plan, do you? And she was like, yeah, absolutely not.
Right. I mean, well, insurance was like, oh, no loss of business revenue and all the
Right.
other stuff. There were not enough fail-safes in place really to keep everything moving, and then even waiting on like the government assistance, the PPP and the EIDL, you had to wait on that.
Right.
And if you get that, great. You still got to make sure that all your expenses are covered for the PPP to get forgiven, and then the EIDL is a loan. So
Right.
Well, yeah. Let's take on some more debt right now.
Yeah, that's the last thing, that we were like, man, we're not gonna. I mean, the way that we handled it, honestly, was recognizing that a big ass winter was coming. Can I cuss?
Oh yeah. Sure.
Okay, sorry. Recognizing
This
that
is MA, by the way. If you're tuning in.
MATV. No, just realizing that a massive winter was coming, and we had to treat it like immediately cut all costs that were unnecessary, hunker down, pivot based, because not only were we seeing changes in the microeconomic environment, the macroeconomic environment's changing tremendously overnight, and we're just watching all of these changes without any good forecasting on what was going to happen. So we just pivoted. We tried to pivot as much as possible.
Was that like towards more of the online, ordering, or?
Oddly enough, so we do, part of it is an online store, and we were pushing that heavier initially. But most of it was with buyer trends, because you think of it like this: no one has anywhere to go.
Right.
And my business, frankly, is founded on a business model that I'm going to be really honest, you can get clothes for cheaper. You can't get the quality of clothes that we sell, but if you have to cover your body with clothes, you can do that for a cheaper price.
But it's about service.
It's about service. It's about luxury. You're getting a nicer piece of clothing. You're getting a good quality. I'm finding this stuff from all over the world and bringing it into Memphis. And
Which is part of what you're doing for your customers, right? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
us not serving frozen junk to our
Right.
guests. You're not, selling them stuff you get, little stuff in Taiwan that falls apart.
right. Yeah, and we were making sure that we want to offer people something that's different and of value, and it's just having to the way that we really ended up doing it was almost like we're a bear going into hibernation, just cutting as much fat as we can, preserving our energy. And I mean, that even went for, God, I was like, I have to mentally take a step back, or it's going to drive me nuts. The not knowing, the uncertainty, the, watching what's happening to, my brother's a full-time musician. That's how he made his living.
I met him up there the other night.
Yeah, he's an incredible person, and he's from Raleigh, and so he's had to move in with us because he has nowhere to play there. And it's
Really cool
been
guy,
hard
by the
on.
way.
Oh, he's awesome. Andrew's a
Good musician,
badass.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
incredible. I mean, he definitely is the inspiration for why I wanted to do music. Yeah.
So, I mean, you bought a business from someone else, so you obviously bought a model.
Yeah.
That, you had expectations for that model to do something. That's similar to what me and Ross were talking about earlier when we're
Yeah.
getting into restaurants or small businesses or whatever. There's a model that you follow.
Right.
So when you're throwing a curveball like this and you do have to pivot, sometimes there's really not a way to pivot. I can't.
Yeah.
What am I supposed
What
to?
What can you do once you get?
What am I doing in a music venue? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But how was that when you went into someone else's, like basically their idea, and then took that and tried to run with it? We do that a lot because we want to try to keep the history of Memphis with the spaces like Zinni's and Sidecar
Right.
Cafe, where the
Yeah.
the owners who got out or passed away. How did you guys get going with all that? Was it just like something like, hey, I want to get into the clothing store? Or?
Yeah. Well, it was, the previous owner, she's a good friend of mine, and I love her a ton, and I respect her a ton. And I had shown interest in, I had been designing my own clothing and making my own clothing. And I was making these costuming things, and we were taking them to cool destinations.
Your
and-
videos and stuff show you have like some,
Oh, weird stuff. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were, I mean, I was working with a designer on some of that, but yeah, I would making weird things. And, I made a collection and took it out to Spain, back when you could travel. Oh, I miss traveling.
Right.
But, we did all these, like, I was making all of these clothes, and she saw that I had this passion for it. And she kind of Willy Wonka'd me. I'll be honest with you. She did. She sat me down one day, and she was like, Jen, I'm thinking about selling my store. And I was like, oh, why? And she's like, I'm going to get my doctorate. I want to, just move on. And I was like, okay. And she was like, I was wondering if you would be interested. And I was like, oh, in buying it? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, what are all of you selling? And she was like, well, I'm selling the online store, the mobile app, the brick and mortar store, the clothing line, and all of the candle line and all that stuff. You can, and the makeup line. And I was like,
all inclusive.
I was like, what? And I was like, I can't afford that. And we talked about it for a while, and I was like, dude, you're Willy Wonking me. And I was just...
Well, you didn't turn into a blueberry.
I didn't turn into a blueberry, thank God. I didn't eat the wrong.
Right.
But I did get sucked up the chocolate fountain. Because this is the chocolate fountain, apparently.
Have you guys experienced a downtick in business? Since
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it was,
Retail, too.
we were closed completely for 2.5 months.
So y'all closed back in March too, right?
We did. We got the PPP loan, but honestly, it was just
That was
kept
for 8
us
weeks, wasn't
afloat.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Turn
it's
into
8
a blue.
weeks.
Do what? Oh, I thought I heard something.
I don't know. I heard something too. But anyways.
Okay. No, we got the PPP loan, but it was essentially covered our rent from that period. But really, what our renters did, we still had to pay the rent.
And you
what
guys are in Overton too, so it's
Yeah.
like, is your landlord Loeb? Or?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and oh god,
It's not cheap over there.
it's not cheap. And not only did they not, we had to pay the rent. They just deferred the rent, which is, hey, it's not their freaking problem.
Right.
Whatever.
They got a model too, where maybe they
have
should learn
their
how
own.
to pivot too.
Yeah, they got their. Yeah, fair. I mean, they got their own thing going, but yeah, it was just, what ended up happening was we're having, people, especially in the beginning, not only is it about being in person and you don't have anywhere to go. Why are you going to spend $100 on a dress
Right.
when you don't have anywhere to go? You're not going to a wedding. You're not going to
I mean,
anywhere.
that's true.
I mean, and that was our forte. Our forte is that, if you get in a nice pair of earrings for your, a date or something like that, like that's kind of our shtick. So not only did our costs go up, our revenue went down.
Yep.
And, again, we decided the best, honestly, we're in survival mode. I
think a
think
lot
we're
of
going to
small
make it.
businesses are.
We're just like,
Are you guys
frozen.
experiencing any kind of holiday uptick?
yeah, but yes, but it's just not where we thought it would be, even honestly. I think that it's a combination of a lot of people having to be aware of how they're spending money. Again, with the nature of the company that we are, which is sort of like a luxury, frankly. And so if something's going to go, like you got to pay for your bills or, pay for a, $90 bag, you're going to,
I
pay
think
your
a lot
bills.
of people are conserving their income right now because they don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And there's Christmas coming up, so the income's got to be spread around different things like
Yep.
kids
Yeah.
and what you want and all the family members and all that kind of good stuff.
Speaking of kids,
You got
I'm also
you have a lot of good news,
Babu.
new news coming out, right? So yeah, you got a new one coming around.
Yeah, I got a little baby in here.
Yeah, I got one
Yeah.
due December 18th.
Okay.
I'll be like, hey Ross, can you take the reins for a minute? man?"
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I can't. This is my second
I haven't
baby.
told him about that yet, though.
Oh, okay. Or you break it. You're like, I'm going to take paternity leave, and I'll be back when this is over.
Yeah, so I mean that's good news. You got a new single coming out, not mastered yet, so we can play that one. But
Yeah, I do. I recorded this one back. I recorded it forever ago, but I just never released it for some reason. I was going through a lot personally and was like, man, fuck music. I need a moment to get my shit together.
you're almost about to get picked up though. Last time we talked, you're like,
I was offered a deal,
Yeah.
and then that fell through, and I was pretty upset about that too. So I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna go sit over here and make clothes, and that's what I ended up doing. So I want to get back to it though. I do miss it, but yeah, I decided to go ahead and have that song mastered and release it in 2021. I think.
yeah.
I think it's an uplifting song, and I think we maybe need some more of that.
You've graced our stages a few times, and we'll hopefully have you back again soon.
Yeah. Post baby, of course, because I don't think y'all want me up here looking like a cartoon character.
Well, you got a little bit more time to get through all that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a while.
Do you know what it is yet?
No, it's a baby.
It's a baby.
It's a human.
It's a
I
little,
know that.
little human, right?
Yes.
Well, it was great to have you. Thank you so much for taking
Thank
your time out to
you.
be
Thank
with
you
us tonight
so
and share your
much.
thoughts. Because coming from retail, that's something that I don't have a lot of discussion with during the day. We're in the restaurant thing. There's plenty to be said about that and the music
Yeah.
business. So I really appreciate you coming in and talking to us tonight.
Yeah.
And,
Well, just like a message to all the small businesses and everyone else out there. Like, if you're having a hard time, we're all in this together. Like, I don't know a single person who's doing great right now. So we're all in it together.
That's what we're trying to do, man. Just give them an opportunity for you guys to come in and talk about what you're experiencing and things that may be working for you that other small business owners can take.
Yeah.
This is not something that we can really fight. I mean, we can go down throw up our hands and argue and stuff, but eventually we have elected people to take care of us, and hopefully, like I said earlier, they do the right thing, and
Yeah.
they do take care of us. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks
and,
for having me. Yeah, appreciate it.
Congratulations. Thanks. Jennifer Hall Burris, y'all. The Ivory Closet on Madison. Go get some clothes. She's not making a whole lot of music these days. All right, so next up is former employee / partner of mine, Merritt Bailey, owner of Ball Hoggers Barbecue. We had several conversations about how to get that off the ground when he was with me, and kind of pushed him in the right direction. He makes some amazing barbecue. Come on up, Merritt. We'll also call him Judge because that's what he goes by, right? Good to see you, man. It's been a minute.
Yes, sir.
I know we've both been busy trying to slang the food out
Yes, sir.
of legal places.
Oh yeah, trying to get everything going, keep business rolling. You know what it is.
So,
Yes, sir.
man, how's the barbecue stuff? Like, I hadn't talked to you in probably a few months at least.
Well,
And,
I think it's been 2 years since I left.
it's been about 2 years since you took off on your own and did your thing.
Right. So I left Growlers back in about 2 years ago, on my mission to start what we would like to be acclaimed as the best barbecue in Memphis.
Hey, it started right out front, in like almost on
Right.
Poplar Avenue with
Right. We were right here in front of Growlers.
Them
We
turkey
had
legs.
Yes, sir. we had our kebabs going back then. We had our grilled corn. We were doing turkey legs. We had the big grill set up out in front, Ball Hoggers Barbecue, where we had the tent, and we were serving the public. That's what we love to do. Be a service of the community, provide great barbecue, and make good people, meet good people, and just make things happen. That's all we do.
I think that's what we're all trying to do.
Yeah.
We're used to catering to the people of Memphis, and those are our guests that come into our places. So we want to
Right.
make sure they're taken care of and do our best.
Right.
How's your business doing though? Like, are y'all booming? I know, like, you had a little bit of a slow start. I mean, then things started picking up.
Well, yeah, when we started
You're
off,
trying to get your beer. I know you got that now.
Right. As we started off, everything wasn't a smooth process. We had
Ain't never.
we had right.
Ain't never.
We had our twists and turns and bumps and roads to cross. So it's never been a easy thing to do. But when I came into the restaurant business, I already assumed that it wasn't going to be easy.
Right.
Everything is a step.
I mean, from people stealing like your grill from out front of your house.
Exactly. People stole my
That
big
you had to
grill.
go to L.A. and win the money.
Man, I had to,
You went to
yeah,
Vegas and won
yeah,
the money.
Right, I had to bounce back real quick. I mean, and that's really the spirit of Memphians. If you get hit once, you gotta bounce back, and you gotta get back on your feet. So everything is pretty much an obstacle in life, and it's all about how you're willing to deal with it, how determined are you, and how bad do you want it. And that's pretty much been our mission, and that's been what we do. So, even going through competitions. We started off doing competitions around the South with the Memphis Barbecue Network and other local organizations.
They ain't really doing any of that anymore right now, though.
Well,
right?
no, it's been shut down because of COVID.
Right.
We missed out this whole year, and we missed out the year before because we were busy trying to open up the business.
Right.
And it's always a good environment where you can get out there with your fellow grillmen and you can barbecue and have good times and drink all night, and keep it going. That's really a neighboring feeling, building a community of people and a bond with people who enjoy the same things that you enjoy. So that's pretty much what we're in it for. We wouldn't do it if we didn't enjoy it. So it's not like a job or it's not like a business. It's more like a way of lifestyle. It's something that we do every day, regardless of if we on the clock or if we on the clock. I'll be at the house still grilling.
See,
at
let
night.
me expand on what you just said.
Yeah.
What you said.
All right.
It's not a job. It's not, it's a lifestyle that we live.
Right.
And it's to take care of the people. It's that camaraderie of having people enjoy the same things that we do.
Exactly.
And, that's been kind of taken away from what we're used to. And it's that lifestyle that we've been doing for, 20 plus years, some people shorter, whatever. But
Right.
we get into that mode, and it's like that's our life.
Yeah, but that's the world within itself. As you can
It
see,
is.
everything changes within a whim, and everybody acts differently overnight because of something that they hear or something that they're regulated to do. So, It's all about being accustomed. You know, you got to change. You got to deal with whatever hurdles come within your way, and you just got to get over it and grind it out, you know.
So it's like,
That's
how?
business. When I started, I knew it wasn't going to be easy.
Oh yeah, you know, we had plenty of talks about that.
Right.
But you know, and you didn't own a restaurant prior to wanting to open up your shop, but you had talked about it like to me the whole time that I've known you since you know, what, 4 years ago.
Yeah, we had that plan in motion. You know, we put our mind to it. We came into the game knowing exactly what we wanted to do and how we wanted to pursue it, and really just to be a Memphis staple, because that's the biggest thing that we wanted to do when we came into it. We just didn't want to be a barbecue spot that opened up, that came and went, or just another barbecue spot out here on the corner. When we set our mind to it, we wanted to be the best.
Yeah, look, you make it 2 years in Memphis. I think you're doing all right. But I mean, you know, you have done a great job at Ball Hoggers. I talk to a lot of people, and they talk about it.
Right.
Like,
so you
how
know,
good the barbecue is.
and in this day and age, everything is virtual anyway. So as long as you make a social presence out there,
Right.
you know, you got the streams and you got the you utilize what you have. You know, you go on social media, you build up a following, you reach out to people who otherwise wouldn't know about you. I mean, it's kind of like free promotion. So
Exactly.
you got to take advantage of that and take care of those situations. So you know, you get reviews. You join groups out there on Facebook. There's a lot of groups out there who just tend to foodies and people who want to be involved in the community, local supporters.
You know, everybody in Memphis got to try every kind of barbecue shop pops up anyway.
I mean, well, yeah. But you know,
hope.
when you think about Memphis, we're known for barbecue. And then when you ask everybody in town, there's probably only 8 or 9 barbecue places that people can mention. So when we came, we just wanted to be one of those mentioned, you know, because it's not a big market for it like you would think it would be, you know. So you got to build up a reputation. You got to serve out good product, and you got to have a passion for what you do. And as long as you do that, no matter what happens, people will still come to where you at. People will still support you. Because as a fact, nobody in Memphis wants to see anybody lose. Everybody wants to see everybody win.
You're right.
Yeah.
We're a community.
Right. So
when
it's all about support.
When all this stuff happened, you know, did you take your business into a new direction? Did you focus on more like the
We did,
catering? And
yeah.
did you get into the third-party delivery services and stuff?
Yeah, we as of right now, we limited our dining area. Well, actually, we cut off our dining area, so we're not doing dine-in right now. Only thing we do is takeout, and we have patio seating out front, so you can come in and you can sit outside if you want.
But you're not doing any dine-in right now.
No dine-in. We had a maximum of only 21 people, I think, in our dining area, which is good. So we started small, so we didn't really have an impact on just losing our dining customers. We just switched it over to takeout. We do catering. We offer catering, so that's a good option to do. Gift cards. We do gift cards. So when the holiday season coming up, you might want to give somebody a gift card. They can come in, pick up their food, and they can go.
A lot of people might not know where Ball Hoggers is, Judge. Like where?
It's in the heart of the city, Orange Mound, 1404 Airways Boulevard, Memphis, Tennessee, 38104. Come by, check us out. We're right in between Lamar and Park. The little building on the corner with the white gate and the smoke coming out of the top of it.
And all them are like cold beer signs and like, you know.
Yeah, and we got beer there. Y'all can come and get your drink on because nothing goes better to barbecue than beer.
So are you using like Uber and DoorDash, Grubhub, any of those guys?
Yeah, we do our delivery through Uber Eats and Grubhub and DoorDash. Yes, sir. But when we do call-ins, you can call in your order. It'll be ready for you. So if you're on your lunch break, we have lunch specials. You can come in, pick it up, and be ready to go back to work on some good barbecue on your stomach. But it was hard when the COVID thing hit, you know. It was a change. We just had to change it up and switch gears because at that time people were panicking. They were rushing all the supermarkets, buying everything out.
I mean, you
Supplies
still
were
can't get
hard to
toilet paper. What you doing?
right. So supplies were hard to find right now. Chicken might have went up a little bit,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So we had to, you just got to switch it up, adapt to what they give you, and
I mean, how many times me and you had conversations about how high the wings were,
Yeah, right. So people, and the customer has to be understanding of that. If they want to come out and support, fast food and cheap food isn't always a good thing for you. Sometimes you want to get some real food, some grill food. That's when you see us at Ball Hoggers Barbecue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got a old hip hop background too.
Yeah, that's real old.
We're gonna bring up. We're gonna bring
That's
that up.
real old.
But I'm sure you still talk to some guys and stuff like from the.
Oh yeah.
From
Yeah.
the hip hop field. Like, how's this affecting them? Are they? I mean, they're still out trying to make music.
Well,
and-
like I say, it's about wanting to find your hustle and wanting to find your grind. If you're dedicated to it, you're always gonna find an avenue, and you're gonna utilize what's out there. Take advantage of it. A lot of people that I know are making videos now. They're going into a virtual thing. It's all about streams. It's all about putting things on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, so you can build a reputation for yourself. And it's really just a process of they're making it easier for you nowadays because it's almost mandatory.
Now, asking for for musicians and artists and things, is there a way for them to monetize on that? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can build your following. You get enough people out there. You can network, and you can make everything happen within that. A lot of people might be switching their fields up from going to music to going into production, camera, videography. So that's the mainstream. That's what's going right now. So sometimes you just gotta switch it up, pivot with the pace, and keep your stride going. That's business 101.
well, I mean, I know we're all small business owners, man. We got a lot of stuff to do. We're gonna try to keep the podcast going on a weekly thing.
That's what
I
I
appreciate
said.
you showing up. Especially like I ain't seen you forever, so it got me a reason to like get you out of the out of Ball Hoggers for a
Tony
minute.
switched it up. Now we got a podcast now. Yeah, he going into that virtual world too. When you see a hole in the game, you fulfill that and you go for what you know. It's all about adapting. Can't let nothing hold you back in this world. There's always going to be hurdles and obstacles you got to cross. So are you strong enough?
It's taking care of people, man. It's our community. It's what we live in, and we as much as people may not see us together, at the end of the day, we're holding each other's hands. If you
Right.
need something, you call me, and we make sure whatever you need happens. It's
Exactly.
the same as if I need something from you. Like I've called you about, like, hey, Josh, I need some barbecue. You're like, I got you.
And it's always about being supportive. We're supportive of one another, and that's what it's about. Memphis has to build a community, which I see everybody working on, with the restaurateurs and the entrepreneurs and everything else that's coming up. It's about a community. It's about a love. It's about a sense of where you're at, wanting to build Memphis up to be better. And as a customer, shop local, support. Even if it's to the smallest thing, put a review out. If you enjoy your food, if you enjoy your customer service, give
And
them
ain't nothing wrong with a
thumbs up.
5-star review. I'm gonna put that out there. You
Well,
you
yeah,
say everything's
right.
great. Don't
Right.
put 4. Give them a 5-star.
Right. It's not always going to be excellent to what you might expect, but if you enjoy it and they give you good product, just give them a thumbs up, And for social media, post your food, keep people looking, keep the name out there, let people know it's there, because a lot of places out here people don't know about. They're just, oh, I've never heard of that place. They've been here for 4 years. Oh, I never heard of this place. But they come in and they enjoy it.
I mean, from a local
You know?
restaurateur, and
Right.
if the customer says something like, "Hey, I don't like this," 100% of the time, that you're gonna get taken care of. We're
Right,
gonna make
right,
sure that
right.
you leave happy, you leave full.
Right.
And what we want you to do is tell all your friends to go to Ball Hoggers Barbecue
Yes.
and go have some good food.
Right, award-winning #1 ribs. Y'all come and see me. 1404 Airways, Ball Hoggers Barbecue.
All right, Judge, man. Well, I appreciate your time tonight, and
yes, sir.
don't be a stranger. You still know where it started at.
I'm in the neighborhood. You know this my hood. I love it. We right here on McLean and Popular.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Poplar and Tucker, man. Come on, right across the
Popular
street.
Tucker, McLean, right there, across from the zoo. Yes, sir. Well, I thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. I like what you're doing. Keep it going. I wish you all the blessings and success in life, and let's make this podcast go #1, baby. Like Ball Hoggers Barbecue.
Same here. We're gonna keep on. We're gonna keep on rooting for you too. And I gotta talk about some barbecue soon anyway.
Man.
But for those you don't know, I'm Tony Westmore. I'm the owner of Growlers. I've got 6 places in Memphis, restaurants, bars. This is our music venue. We try to help the city the best way we can. This is a platform for everybody to talk about in the community. If you're interested in being a part of the podcast, let us know. We're looking for some diversity in the conversation, small business owners, musicians, people in the community that this has really put an effect on. It's not a gripe session. We don't want to do that. We want to try to get some ideas together to help other people succeed in their business. So if you're interested, let us know. You can send us a message at Growlers. You can hit me up, Tony Westmoreland, on Facebook. Find me. I'll do what I can to help you guys out. If you need anything, please let us know. Reach out to your fellow community members that are in the same business as you are. They might have some ideas that's going to be helpful to you and help you survive through this. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week, Monday, 6 o'clock, Growler Hour.